Okay, so I knew I wanted to come here and record something, but I just wasn't sure what I wanted to record. So I've just been reflecting pretty much, and I do have something that I want to say. I was thinking the other day about like how I've grown and, some of the journeys that I've been through and, how I've had to pretty much just navigate, a lot of times in my life, a lot of seasons. And honestly, like, I remember seeing something about when you live for God, it's almost like you're always in turmoil, isn't it? But I think it's just the lessons we learn in life that takes us through different seasons. And the number one thing that I just kind of remembered, and it just kind of gave me that kind of like, wow moment, is it's crazy how we have dressed up our personality, or the other way around, we've dressed up trauma to be our personality. And even though I wanted to just kind of stay away from the topic of trauma, I think it might be nice to discuss survival mode and how it shaped us as a person, and why we struggle with relationships and friendships and jobs and lifestyle and parenting, how it just contributes so heavily to different parts of our lives. And now I'm a mum, I'm seeing how survival mode has definitely molded me more than my surroundings. I think we always say that we're a product of our environment, isn't it? Of where we come from. But it isn't always the case if you've had some sort of traumatic upbringing or a compromised upbringing in some sort of way. Those kinds of things, they definitely do mold you, especially when you grow up and you don't really understand the need of therapy until you're older. And there's so many times I've looked at therapy and I've been like, do I really need therapy, or am I just being emotional? And I think that just feeds into that whole African woman narrative of us being so strong and, we are resilient. And although resilience is such a beautiful trait, it's also not a badge of honor that we need to wear all the time. And I think that's just something that African women have just carried quite heavily throughout our lives. It's even why some of us stall in doing things like this. Do you know how long I've been saying to myself, I need to get back on YouTube, I need to get back on Instagram? But then it's that thing of shame. What would people think if, she starts the whole content creation thing? Or what would people think if this, I need to look strong, I need to look like you don't know too much about me, I need to be mysterious. And that's just a trauma response. It's nothing more than that. Because you see people who come from, I would say, healthier backgrounds, who share their lives on social media. They share their kids, they share their marriage. Of course, they're not sharing the ins and outs, but they're definitely sharing something. And sometimes that covering, that secrecy, is simply because you don't want to walk in shame. It's nothing more than that. I get it. I get the whole evil eye thing. I get keep things quiet until they've manifested. I'm very big on that. I'm a Christian, I get it. But then sometimes some things are just false humility. Their pride hidden in, oh, I don't want to speak before it's time. You have something in you that you can share with the world, but you're not sharing it. Why? Because trauma has taught you to not say too much, to keep things to yourself, to not appear as if you're letting away too much. Have you ever sat in a conversation before, and trust me, this has happened to me, where you feel like you're speaking too much? You're literally just fellowshipping with someone and just exchanging, but then you leave there feeling like, oh gosh, I've said too much. Where does that come from? What is that? Whoever made you feel like you were talking too much? Whoever told you you talk too much? Whoever told you what you're saying is not valid? And then all of a sudden, you see this person again, and then you're withdrawing from them. All of a sudden, you want to put back on your facade. You want to sit gracefully. You're a woman of very little words. It's pride, and that pride derives from trauma. So I think, to be honest, that is something we need to unpack on this page. Whatever this page is going to be. I think I've had it all in my head about it's going to be this perfect thing, it's going to be amazing, but I'm just like, do you know what? Mount this camera and say something and speak from the spirit. And truly, this is exactly what came out. Trauma, survival mode, they're not personality traits. We need to look into ourselves and see where our real personality is hidden. It's hidden behind that I always need to look strong. I always need to be resilient. It's hidden behind nobody should know my cards. Keep your cards very close to your chest. Why? Where has the rejection been shown in your life that you feel that now, if you were to be yourself, you're going to get rejected again? Not everything is strategy. Not everything is about strategy. Some of us go into relationships with strategy and not intention. Strategy is for winning. Intention is for longevity. So there is a difference between being strategic to make sure someone is in your place or is on your side. That's mainly when you're trying to, win and have people do something you want them to do for you. Does that make any sense? Whereas intention is building something that's long lasting, building something with meaning. So we need to get away from strategy into intentionality. And I think along the way, we're going to unpack that. And I think I need to unpack that for myself before I come and unpack that with you, because that is very deep. So join me on this channel. It's a journey. There is so much I want to share. Of course, I'm not saying I'm going to share my whole life, but I'm definitely going to share a lot, because even if it helps one person, just one person, I think I've done my job. I don't know the name of the channel, by the way. Let's think about names. I thought about Breathe with T because that's the original name. I've thought about Talks with T. I've thought about Trauma with T, but that sounds very like counseling, and I don't think I'm ready for that kind of conversation. So let's stick to Breathe with T. Yeah, so join me next time. I know this is a short one, but hopefully we'll have more to unpack next time. Take care.